Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K channel. We're at the end of one of our long filming sessions, so this is our last video for today. We're all fatigued, but I'm hoping this little video is going to pump our energy up for the rest of the day. So it is a song we all know. We've actually reacted to a studio version of this song already, so we're going to now check out a live performance from this year by the band. So let's go check it out. We'll share our thoughts and feelings at the end. Let's do it. Here we go. Ready? Here it's going to come. It's on the screen any second. Here you go. There we go, a little bit of through and through Life of Agony with some lovely guy who loves to sing his lyrics along with the rest of the band. So why did I pick this particular video? I came across this a few weeks ago after we did our through and through reaction to the original music video. And consider it's Life of Agony, and this was from this year in January. And I just was sitting there thinking, when was the last time you saw a band like that in a venue like that, where you were just standing there right next to there's no security barrier, there's people just stage diving. It's just wow to experience that.
Yeah.
And that's what it made me, when I was watching it, just go, I so want to go to that gig, I so want to be there. I'm so gutted I can't. And then you see venues that you just don't get that chance nowadays. Every time you go to see a band like Life of Agony, it's up in a seated area somewhere, or it's a big barrier between you and the stage, and you don't get that connection. But they didn't. I don't know what the situation was that created that gig, but the people standing at the side of the stage, people stage diving, it feels like they were at like some sort of convention center and they just decided to start playing a gig for some strange reason. But anyway, over to you, Andy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, so we don't know the context of how this gig came about, but it seems a bit of a strange setting. It reminded me of my secondary school hall.
Yeah.
You know, lights are on. Why are the lights on? Do you know what I mean? Perhaps they've got no stage
Yeah.
lighting. Perhaps it wasn't an impromptu gig, as you said, and they've just got some, the bare minimum of equipment in the van and they're throwing it on the stage.
Yeah.
A little disappointed with the quality of the video. I know it's camcording from one side, and is that why we couldn't hear the lead vocals, because the guy was singing along who was recording it?
Yeah, there's an element of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree with you. You'd want to be there, wouldn't you? What a great experience that must have been for Life Agony fans to have been at that show. Just I'd like to see better quality live footage from the band, to be honest. But it's good to know that that's recent and they're still doing that right now.
Yeah.
And the original lineup, as far as I can see, or majority of the original lineup.
Different drummer. Yeah, different drummer.
Different drummer. Alan Roberts' backing vocals were clear and might, but it didn't seem like Mila's was sort of even coming through the PA. But yeah, great song, great band. I'd just like to see more of that, but better shot quality, better sound recording. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame. There we go. Nice way to finish the session.
Yeah, like you said there, Andy. First thing I'm thinking, secondary school assembly hall.
Yeah.
Where we'd have like the annual talent contest. If anyone had any doubts about this band's NY hardcore roots and integrity, they only have to watch this video. Can you imagine the feeling where you've got all those people screaming the lyrics back at you to know that you've had an impact? And they were all our age, weren't they? There were some women there at the front who were clearly late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s even, and they felt every word of that song, didn't they? I agree. This song, I always wanted to know what it would be like live if they could do that poignant backing vocal, closer than ever.
Yeah. And
they did, didn't they? As you said, it was actually louder than the main vocals. So much energy in that room. There was one guy I counted, I think he'd stage dived 5 times.
He just kept going from one side to the other.
Yeah. Did you see that one near the end as well? That bald-headed guy with the white t-shirt. He tried to stage dive, then realised there's only one person to hold him. So he had to like discreetly make it look like he'd climbed over this man and then landed on his feet. You're right. I understand why there's no lighting. I remember about 15 years ago, one of my mates, he's really into his underground hardcore, and he was showing me this festival in Detroit, and it was just like that, but with people doing like drop kicks, in that in the pit. And I think that's deliberate. They don't want any razzmatazz, do they? If you go and see a black metal band like Watain, you are expecting a huge budget, aren't you? And it to be this satanic ceremony. With that, I remember, how many times do you say there are no rock stars in hardcore? Because when you play a gig, almost everyone in that audience is in a band themselves. And hardcore is that is probably the main genre where you can say that. You can also say that about the Hertfordshire metal scene, to be fair. But yeah, really infectious, isn't it? That energy. I'm like you, Dave. I wish I was there. So over to you again.
Back to wrap it up. So yeah, that was particularly the reason I picked it. It's actually from Tampa, Florida, from Firefest. So it's a hardcore metal or hardcore music festival. And yeah, all the bands played in that same thing. So it's a big musical. It's a whole festival all day of lots of hardcore bands, with Life of Agony being one of them. And all the bands got to play in that same thing. So no security, just right up to the stage. Damn, I'm in awe of that.
I am. I would definitely pay to go and watch that festival.
It's like you just don't get that sort of. Well, I suppose you do, but I suppose even at Club 85, when they have a big band in that's got a decent crowd, they put security barriers in, so you can't do that sort of stage dive-in thing. I don't know if that's now more to protect equipment than it is to protect the band, because the amount of people that smashed up monitors by using them as launching platforms, and nowadays half the monitors at the front of the stage are rocker monitors, so you can't actually step on them without them flying off somewhere and flying out into the crowd. So I'm wondering if there's an element of that. But I remember my first gig back in '93 being Cannibal Corpse at the Marquee in London, and climbing up the side of the PA, because they had the cones on this side of the PA, which were obviously for the woofer parts. For the bass, and people used them as step ladders to climb up the side PA to then step up onto the stage at the Marquee, so you could stage dive off. That was Samael. I can't remember who the other band. It was another death metal band or metal band, and then Cannibal Corpse was the headliner. And I was 14 as my first ever gig. That's how you do it. Cannibal Corpse, stage diving, corkscrew stage diving off the top there. But yeah, you just don't see that anymore. And the fact that it's a festival there from America and it's this year, it's not old school. I like the vibe of having the lights on because it just feels like it's some sort of weird party. And
like you're watching a party, or even like a band rehearsal.
Yeah, and
but they're loving it, aren't they? Like, look at the bass player. He enjoyed that. I like. Do you know what's great as well? When you see a band and the musicians are singing their own lyrics and shouting them out because the songs, they're so proud of them, aren't they? And they've got meaning, and that's always a great sign. But Andy, you went to see Obituary, didn't you, last week or earlier this week? I can imagine, you say that's Tampa Bay, Florida. I can imagine Obituary headline in that festival, in that environment. It'd be amazing.
What a great day that would have been, yeah.
The thing is, a lot of bands, I mean, especially since it got a lot harder for bands, especially if you became more well-known, but since the Dimebag Darrell shooting, because they just don't want anyone getting on stage near the musicians because of that particular issue of obviously what happened with him being killed. And even Scott Ian said when they talked about it was that he sometimes worries about every time he goes on stage, is some crazy maniac going to come charging on stage and could kill you at any moment. You never know because someone takes offense.
Look at Randy Blythe, Lamb of God, where that kid, Czech Republic, climbs on stage, he pushes him off and he dies, doesn't he?
Mm.
So you've even got that as well. But
there's such risk, but
he's had that paranoia, because of what happened to Dimebag. You just don't know
who that person is that comes on stage. Could be doing anything, so you never know. But it's still nice to see it, and I still would. I'd have loved to have gone to a show like that, and I hope at one point I do get to see a band like that, of that quality, in that environment where you can just walk straight up to the stage. It wasn't even up to your crotch shot. I mean, it was a pretty low stage, and you could just sit there and have the band right in your face, pouring sweat on you. That energy going back, awesome.
Yeah.
There we go. Life of Agony, through live from Tampa at the Fire Fest. Now, if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.